Hi, everybody. It's Tim Constantine from the Washington Times, joined by my good friend for America. He's Dave Bozell. Hi, Dave. How are you?
Good, sir. How are you, Tim?
I am doing very well, except I got to tell you, I'm irritated by the media malpractice on this entire tariff scenario.
Yeah.
If you go back to the first week of the Trump presidency, and I mean literally 1 week into the presidency, the mainstream media was complaining about the price of eggs. Donald Trump said he would do this as soon as he got in, prices would go down.
Right.
It had been 7 days, 2 of which were a weekend, but they were blaming him. None of them complained when Biden had 20% inflation, but 7 days in, they were complaining. And now they're doing the same thing with this tariff policy. And I don't know if it's just the hatred for Donald Trump or if they really don't understand the issue at large here. The market is off by 3,000 points. The market is off by another 1,900 points.
Yeah.
It happens, but I'm not trading day by day. My entire world doesn't worry between Monday and Wednesday what my net worth is. It does matter a year from now and 2 years from now and 5 years from now. But are we looking at a bigger picture here? What is wrong with the American media? And I'm using the tariffs as the example.
Well, yeah, my name is David, but I'm not a Davy day trader either, Tim. These guys are economic illiterates. Most of the media are. Now, I love what Pierce
007, Pierce Brosnan?
No, Pierce Brosnan, Pierce Morgan. Jesus.
Anti-gun Pierce Morgan.
No, but he said it right. He said there's one thing I'm 100% certain of. No one has any idea if this is going to work. Now, President Trump has campaigned on the tariff issue since day one. In fact, if you go back to some of his earliest television appearances way back in the 80s, way back with Oprah, way back with Phil Donahue, he was talking about tariffs and what he would do with them if ever he wanted to run and win the presidency way back then. So this is not news to the American media. What would a fair media do? They would have dissected and digested and investigated the impacts of tariffs fairly long ago. Instead of this hyperbolic, I can't believe I lost 2% of my 401k today, and how dare Trump do this, and was the rollout done properly? And what he had been talking about it every single day, for heaven's sakes. And he announced a month in advance, Tim, a month in advance. April 2nd is going to be the day, the Liberation Day. And they still act like he just sprung this trap on all these countries. And worse than that, Tim, the White House has announced every single day the amount of countries that have come back to the table, to the White House. I think the number is well over 70, 75 countries now. Fair reporting would suggest that who are these countries? What do they want in return? But they hate him. To your first point, they hate him so much. They want to see him fail. Beyond, more than anything else, that they're just willing to dog every move he makes. And this is just the latest example by the press in doing so.
The tariffs are the best example, of course, but everything Donald Trump does is a negotiation. Everything. Everything he does is a negotiation. When he threatened to leave NATO, he didn't really intend to leave NATO. He was snapping reality to Germany and France and the other countries who had been shirking their financial responsibility and expecting the United States to carry it all. When he talked this year, not only in Ukraine, but about Europe carrying the load for some of the European defense issues in NATO, then they were shocked. And then they acted as though the United States would be upset when they said, well, it's high time that we went ahead and planned our own defense. And I'm thinking, yeah, it is.
Right.
Thank you.
Right.
That was the whole purpose of Donald Trump's negotiation.
Right.
So in the tariffs here, it isn't because he wants to charge more money for everything. It is to bring people to the table. And if we're to believe what he said the other night, they've got like 50 countries that have come back and said, whoa, we really don't want to mess with this. We would like to deal with this. Vietnam said, let's get all tariffs off. Let's just both be 0 and 0.
Yeah.
You've got all these countries who are suddenly seeing the light. So the issue here isn't what happened on day 1 or day 2 or day 5 of his tariff implication. It's what are the implications a year from now? If all of a sudden there are no tariffs anywhere, this initial pain will have been well worth it because the price of literally everything will go down.
Yeah, I mean, Donald Trump, more than any politician in the modern era, has his pulse on flyover country. He understands if you go 40 miles west of Washington D.C. toward a little Civil War town called Front Royal, or a little points beyond to Winchester, and then you head off to West Virginia, there's nothing there, Tim. There's no industry there. These are dying, crumbling towns, rife with crime, drug addiction, prostitution, now illegal immigrants, sucking up all of what the minimal resources that these towns have. And this is an epidemic that's spreading all across the country, where only the coastal areas of the country and the cities have any sort of gainful employment. And where it's just white collar, it's desk jobs, where people are just emailing each other to prosperity. That is not what this country was founded on. And I think the tariffs spiritually, not to assign a divine providence to this, but the motivation is economically balanced and get these guys to the table and negotiate this, that, and the other. But spiritually, is to save the American working man and woman, to give them opportunity, not just to build, but to pursue any and all different types of livelihoods. Instead of being forced into this cocoon, well, I guess I got to go move into suburban hell and get a desk job because that's the only thing that pays a decent wage. And I just think it's incredibly healthy for the country. It is an incredible, awesome opportunity as a reset economically, but also just spiritually as a nation, getting back to our roots as builders. We should be builders, not just buyers internationally. And we shouldn't have to go to Bangladesh to get our textiles. We shouldn't have to do that. We should build them right here in America.
You mentioned the reset, and I think that's the best term for this, because when we think in terms of, let's say you get a cavity, you have a toothache, it hurts, you realize you have a cavity. What's the answer? You go to the dentist, he gives you a shot of Novocaine, the shot hurts. When he sticks that needle in your cheek, it hurts. When he drills, even though you've had the shot, it hurts. For a day or two afterwards, it's sore, it hurts. But then if you survive those couple of days, you're all set, no problem. I have one friend who, when we were younger, would have dental issues, but didn't want to feel that pain, so he would put it off, and he would put it off, and he would put it off. Meanwhile, he's feeling pain every day because of the cavity. Ultimately, he has more trouble because he didn't address it in a timely manner. And I think it's a great analogy for what we're doing here. Is it possible we're going to feel any pain during 2 months, 3 months, 6 months while this all goes into effect? Sure. But is the end game, are you going to have better dental health? Are you going to have a better economy in the United States? Of course, you go, you address the issue, you feel the pain, you fix it, and you move on. And that's what I see Trump trying to do here. He does not want some 50% tariff on someone. What he's trying to do is force them to remove their tariffs against the United States. And again, if what he's telling us is accurate, it's already working.
Right. And there's also going to be more of an opportunity, I think, for investment opportunities locally. I mean, right now, if you want to make money while you're sleeping, your only real hope is to just throw money at the market. And then some days you do well, and some days it's like eating soup with a fork. But locally, I think as communities band together and invest in each other, I just think this is going to be just a total net positive for the country. And I, you brought up the toothache situation. I mean, my kid's going to college next year. My 529 account is in total disarray. Right? I have no idea how I'm going to pay for first year of college anymore, but I'll manage through it. We'll muscle through it. And if the country is better off for it, let's band together and root this policy on to the extent that we all understand that has been done to America for the last 40 years has been not just unfair, but highway robbery. And this is what the country voted for. And the media need to understand these principles first and foremost. They can cry and bang their pots and pans all day long, but 75 million people voted for this reset.
You know, the downside, of course, is Jaguar is not importing any cars right now while there's the big extra boost. So you're going to have to wait on that fancy car, Dave.
Jaguar was going downhill. You couldn't even get out of the car, so the doors wouldn't work.
What car? What car? They have one model right now. That was a complaint the other night, is Jags aren't coming in. I'm thinking they have one car, and it's an SUV, a little mini SUV that looks like a Dodge. I don't even understand why people are buying it. I'm sorry. I don't mean to diss on Jags. I'm just saying the complaints that have been put out there, the result of this, are really a stretch. Right now, I don't think we're feeling it that much, unless you got a 529 or unless you're retiring tomorrow. You might have a little worry, but I'm telling you, 6 months from now, you're going to be just fine.
Just hold tight.
For America, he is Dave Bozell. I'm Tim Constantine from the Washington Times. Thanks for joining us.